Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine. The time to say yes to your dreams and aspirations is here.
And tonight we are going to be discussing with Mr. Abisoye Fagade. Mr. Abisoye Fagade is the principal consultant and chief executive officer of Sodium Brand Solutions Limited. He is also the owner of the Alexia's Place, that cute hotel in the Okwebi area of Ikeja, Lagos. He was actually born in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State. He attended the Queen of Apostle Primary School, as well as the popular Lagelu Grammar School. Both schools, of course, are in Ibadan, Oyo State. Thereafter, he proceeded to the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State, where he read demography and social statistics. He graduated in 1998. Mr. Fagade currently plays B in the marketing communications sector. All right, Mr. Fagade was born on March 10, 1974 in Ibadan, Oyo State. What fond memories of your birth and childhood do you still remember?
Well, there are the simple one and the humble one. I could remember growing up in Oluyoro.
Oluyoro.
Yes, in Ibadan then. And we left Oluyoro around 1979. I remember earlier in those years, we used to go and play football. My father was a banker, by the way. And in those days, you know, bank would close at 4. And sometimes they don't come back home until 6:30. There was no computer. So I could remember joining my friends and brothers to go and play football. And when my father comes back early, unexpectedly, and we rush inside, we now go and clean our faces. And when he comes in, we look at our sideboard here. We'll see sweat. We know that people are probably football. I'll give us a knock on the head. So those were the memories I had of growing up in Oluyoro in those days before we left in 1979 to go to Monoton, where I grew up in my secondary school, my AC to be precise. So we'll go to Orioke to go and pray. So that's why I'm used to going to Orioke. I took that from my dad.
All right. All right. Now you attended the Queen of Apostle Primary School and the popular Lagelu Grammar School, both in Oyo State.
Yes.
What do you still cherish and remember about those two schools?
Well, it was a missionary school, and I can remember seeing all those nuns in those days wearing white, and how they built us up to be upright in our ways. And then I remember that going to school was actually fun, because we always look forward to going to school, even though when you wake up early as 6 a.m. in the morning, you'll be reluctant, but still look forward to going to school. And the fond memory of my secondary school was the Green, White, Green, my alma mater. And that school has produced a lot of the distinguished Ibadan people. The late former governor, Governor Jumobi, was way our senior. Fagade, the former deputy governor of Central Bank too, and a lot of other people like that, like myself. So Lagilu then was, till now, one of those prominent schools in Ibadan, and was actually really fun. We learned a lot, and we understand the sense of communism from that school, how you can hold each other's hand to actually grow.
Wow, thank you. Now, you read the demography and social statistics at the Obafemi Awolowo University,
Yes, sir.
in Ile-Ife, Osun State. What exactly does that course entail? I mean, I'll be very frank with you, I'm hearing about the course for the first time.
Are you serious? Demography is just the study of people in terms of numbers. Then it has to do with it's a social science course and has to do with statistics.
Okay.
So that actually really helped me in choosing my career eventually, which is marketing. So it's more or less like study of human and data, how you can use data to actually measure human behavior and other demographic studies. So it's that simple.
All right,
But
now you veered.
actually killed them.
Go ahead. I thought you had finished the response.
Actually helped eventually, because in marketing you need a lot of statistics and data to be able to deduce a lot of things. So that actually helped my early days in Indomie.
Now you're veering into marketing communications. What triggered it?
Well, when I was in Ife, I was part of a group called ISEC. ISEC.
Okay.
Is an acronym of a French word. So it's an international student who are interested in economics and business and all of that. So those days they used to teach us about marketing. We used to have events and they would ask us to go and market the events. So we'll go out and try and pitch the event to sponsors. So I started learning about marketing, which is not actual real marketing that I'm actually doing now. So I took interest in marketing in those days of ISEC. And immediately I finished from Ife, I was working with Nitel. That's where I sat. And I had this opportunity to join Indomie, and they said I should come to the marketing department because I mentioned ISEC and I had the marketing background, which is not marketing really. So that's why I got the knack for marketing from. That was my university days. So my actual experience of marketing was from Indomie.
All right. Now from Indomie, if I'm right, you joined the Solcom, because I think that was where I got to meet you for the first time.
From Indomie.
Now let's okay, from Indomie to where?
Indomie, I went to Starcom. Starcom was the telecoms communications. I marketing manager then. And from Starcoms, I went to Tequila events, which was that turned to Sky. Then now joined S2IU Sachi and Sachi group, which was Solcom. So there were like two other companies in between. Okay,
I remember because that was where I got to know the OSMDI for the first time. OSMD. All right.
I knew before that time. You were a big boy then, so you were running the bosses. You were running the bosses.
I was a reporter then. Now your company is called Sodium Brand Solutions Limited. Why the name Sodium?
Okay, I've always answered the name Sodium from secondary school because there was one day like this. I was in a lesson and I was very restless. The teacher was like, Oga, why you are here? You are here before. All of us stay in one place. How are you acting like Sodium? I like sodium in water because water. And I took interest in the name Sodium, so I tried to study it a little bit more. I realized that it's an element, it's a chemical element that you can actually can't do without. Every single sodium in this life has an element of sodium in it, and you can't buy with anything. So when I was going to start my agency, I realized that I was going to do a 360 agency, and I said to myself that I should be able to tell everybody that some way, somehow, you're going to need my agency. And every other name starts with something funny. You know, I just wanted something that can kick off a conversation. It's a sodium brand solution. Say, why sodium? So people should ask questions. I don't want something that will just be direct, as if a conversation. I will start off a conversation. Yeah. I decided to go for the name sodium. And I also realized that it's an element that is required in everything that we consume as human beings. If you look at the bottle of water, I see it's very little portion of sodium. So I just said, okay, since I'm going to start a 360 degree agency, let me just say some way, somehow you're going to need us. Simply put, so we are sodium. So like salt, let's add a little bit of salt to your activation, to your brand. Let's push your brand. So that's how I started off, and that's how where we are today.
Wow. All right. What stands your agency out or apart in your sector, in the marketing communications sector?
Well, when we started off till date is the creativity. We always want to do something that has never been done before in terms of ideation, and our ability to think on our feet, because we know that we are in Nigeria, anything can happen. As an experiential agency, you need to be able to think on your feet, and if possible, work from answer to the question. That stands the agency out, ideation and ability to be able to think on our feet. So I'll just say that simply put. Then, in terms of costing, we are very competitive in terms of costing, but most importantly, the ideation. We don't look at the budget to bring out the idea. First of all, to bring out the idea, then we'll now look at how client's budget can fit in. Because if you look at the budget, you will not be able to think of ideas. It's always an issue anywhere in the world.
I love that. Now, to have a taste of success in your sector, what must one do?
To have a taste of success?
Yes, in your line of business, what must one do?
Ask me first. Have I tasted success? because I'm still well, because I know what sex looks like when I see one. We are still aspiring, even though we are one of the top agencies. We are still trying to do the business the right way. But to be able to stand out in that sector, you need to first be able to come up with ideas that clients cannot resist. And because also in that sector, the entry barrier is so low that they can take your idea and give to somebody. You also need to make sure that the kind of ideas you're coming with, you do not share the execution plan before you are contracted. Because it's easy for people to just pick up ideas and give to somebody. A lot of the ideas we share with the client and they will go and execute. But when you see the execution, you realize that, okay, that's the idea, but that's not how it's supposed to be done.
Yes, something is missing.
Something is missing. Then there has to be consistency. And most importantly, relationship is key. It's only your friends that can give you business. Forget about it. They might not be your close friends. But people need to be able to say, I know this person, and they need to be able to tell of your character. So relationship is very key, and you need to be able to understand how to manage the relationship. It's very, very key also. Relationship management is one of the fundamental ingredients of tasting success. And don't wait for instant gratification. It doesn't happen.
It takes time.
It's a little bit of time. Because I remember when we started the agency, our first activation was about 150 million naira. That was in 2009. That was huge. And we got that job because of relationship, not nothing else, and because they understand that this is the person that can deliver what they wanted. So the job was given to Abisoye before they knew the agency, Sodium. Because my clients understand that I will bend backward to make sure that at least I deliver on my promises, which is why most of the time we under promise and we over deliver.
That's interesting. Would you like to shed more light on that job, that first job that definitely multi-million naira business
the money just big, the markup is not that big. Yeah, it was 2009 Coca-Cola Christmas tree. You remember that Coca-Cola Christmas tree that we used to do in Cultural Center then, the tallest in Africa. And I just left my other agency and we pitched for the Christmas activation. We won. A new agency, we won. And the first thing they did to us, they wrote us a letter that we won. And the next thing was we sent budgets, we agreed on budgets, and I saw a PO of 150 million, 140 something. And all I had was just paper to show for it. So we had to go to the bank to borrow to activate that job. So, but the good thing was it was a huge success that we did that same Christmas tree the next year, which is 2010 again. So if we didn't do the first one well, we wouldn't have gotten the second one. So, and that kickstarted the relationship between Sodium and Coca-Cola, which was about 10 years.
Interesting. Now, other than Sodium Brand Solutions Limited, you also own a hotel. I mean, that's talking about Alexia's place. Would you like to tell us about the hotel?
Okay, what do you call that as the hotel? Okay, well, thanks. We realized at some point that in the kind of business that we do, multiple streams of income is the only way that we can sustain ourselves. And we need to diversify. And initially, we thought of things to do that can bring daily money. Which was, then we started off, Sodium, okay, I didn't tell you that Sodium actually gave back to Alexia Media, who's a media buying agency. Sodium also gave back to Alexia Oil and Gas, which is the oil servicing company. So it's the hotel that there's only the hotel that you are talking about. Anyway, and we felt that we had to do something that will actually bring us daily money, something that we can actually, as an agency, we don't want to go and borrow anymore. Something that can actually turn our cash around and create some kind of cash flow. So we started off the bottled water business and the pure water. And that didn't do well because the industry is saturated. And we spent a lot of money putting the factory together. That wasn't a big success, and we still didn't stop there. We realized that a lot of people come from outside the country and they need a place where it's very seclusive, where they can just at their heads, sleep and wake up without noise. So this is why we created Alexia's Place. Alexia's Place is created to give you a feel of a real home from home. And we did a boutique hotel, which is doing well, which has already given back to another hotel in Ibadan. There's another Alexia's Place coming up in Ibadan again. So in our bid to create multiple sources of income, that's where we started off with the Alexia's Place that we talked about.
Wow.
And also we have a small bakery, which is not so small bakery in Ibadan, that is coming up very soon. So watch out for this space. It's called It's called Bonike Bread.
Bonike Bread. We're waiting, we're watching out. Wow. Interesting. Now, Mr. Fagade also has the Abisoye Fagade Foundation. What led to the foundation? Why did you decide to come up with a foundation?
Okay. Abisoye Fagade Foundation, what does it do? We created that foundation to help small businesses to scale up. During the years I started Sodium, I went through a lot in terms of, I was never a CEO before I started Sodium. Yes, all I had was just my self-confidence and the blessing of my boss then, Obong, I'll call him Obong Udemelfort. So, and I was never a CEO, and the lesson I learned over time cannot be wished away. There are things I want to share with people. So that's why we started off the Abisoye Fagade Foundation to help small businesses to scale up, see how we can, where necessary, get funding for those small businesses. In a smaller way, what the Stafford Seed program is doing, that's what we're trying to do here in Nigeria. And what led to that was my experience over time with banks. You know, it's extremely difficult to start a business in Nigeria. It's even more difficult to run it. You have a business that has run for 10 years. President to give you MON in this Nigeria. So those things I've learned, I always constantly want to share with people who are starting up their business. Like Peter said, silver or gold I have none. That experience I'm always willing to share, which is why we started the Abisoye Fagade Foundation, and we have tried as much as possible. Right now, we have like 10 companies that we're mentoring, that we're helping their businesses to scale up. What we do is we take them through a mentorship program, look at their cash flow, look at their finances, their marketing, their production, their value chain. All in all, just see how they can scale up their business. But I've also realized that most Nigerian businesses die after 20 years, when the owner dies. We're trying to see how we can create businesses that will outlive the founders. That's what we started off with the foundation.
Wow. Well, now many believe that you're interested in becoming the governor of your state. Would you like to talk about that?
Many said, you said what?
I said many people believe that Abisoye Fagade is interested in becoming the governor for your state. Would you like to talk about that?
Can I ask you a question?
Please go ahead.
What do you think about that idea? What do you think about that idea?
Beautiful idea. I want my friend to become the governor for your state.
Is it because I'm your
Beautiful
friend or
idea.
because you think I'm capable?
I know what you can do. You're my friend and my brother first and foremost. Then I also know that you're capable of administering that state very, very well. Not just going there to, but doing it very, very well.
About 10, 11 years ago, I started off not a foundation, a movement called Oyoshimadun, OSMD.
Yes, we'll still come to that.
I always wanted to be a governor at that time. And I'm interested in being the governor of Oyo State because I believe we can't just sit back and do nothing. We will allow the worst of us to continue to rule over the best of us when the best of us just keep down and do nothing. So I said, okay, let me just play my part. And I know that as a good human manager and manager of resources, can do better.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, the interest in politics, what ignited it?
Well, my passion to see a better country. If I wanted to be a politician, years ago I would have probably been as a rep, grow to be a politician, but I wanted a position where I can have total control and be responsible for things that I do. If I want to be a real politician, trust me, as 10 years, 15 years ago, if I had run for House of Representatives, I would have gone to the House more than twice. And I've been part and parcel of that structure. I've never run for any political post aside from wanting to be governor. And the reason why I want to be the governor is simple. I feel I'll be responsible. I'm totally responsible for what I do. The budget is mine. Decision is mine. Just like Mr. President is very responsible for this country, whether it's good or bad, you are responsible for it. And I think at that level, you can make a whole lot of changes.
Wow. Now, you have this popular slang, I don't know what to call it, a slang or something, but I mean, let me use the word slang. OSMD, Oyo Shimadu.
Where do you mind slogan? Slogan is better, slang is...
Okay, slogan. Thank you very much.
Slogan from you.
Would you like telling us about it? Well, OSMD, Oyo Shimadu.
Yeah. I came up with that. I think, don't let me say they gave me the name in my dreams, but I came up with that name 11 years ago.
Wow.
Then, things were not as bad as this, but I think it was worse off at that time also. Because Nigeria is not getting better. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. And I felt that I need something that is captivating enough for people to want to listen to you. I felt that something that my people in Oyo State can actually identify with, and something that is more like a call to action, reason for hope, and a movement that we can all be part of. Which means Oyo Shimadu, which means that Oyo is still going to be sweet again, literally. But Oyo, there's this saying that goes like, you can only wake up and want to be like Oyo people. Oyo can never aspire or want to be like anybody. But that's not what's happening right now. I don't want to say I'll take us back to those. I want to take us to the future where we should be. And if you see Oyo State's plate number, they say pace setter. Where exactly are we setting the pace? And it's because the leaders are comfortable with doing nothing. Because people do not complain, they are not held accountable. And they are scared of development because they feel that people are okay where they are. There's a lot of risk wanting to be a leader. It's a lot of risk. And it's only the risk taker that can take it. Every other ones are just politicians.
I like that. You have done well for yourself. I need you to share with us the strategies that you adopted to get to where you are today.
What strategy? Well, I believe like the world we are in right now is a market. And if you are going to the market, people go to the market for different reasons. To buy, to sell, to look, to do baranda. Baranda means intermediary, to do all sorts of things. Whatever it is that you're in the market to do, stay focused. If you're in the market to buy, go and buy. Don't get distracted by the Omoibos that are dragging you to come and look at something. Focus on where you're going to. If you're in the market to sell, don't be disturbed by other people that are calling other customers. Expose your business to people to want to buy your business. So in this market of the world, the only strategy I've adopted is things will happen. Shit happens. Sorry, pardon my English. Stuff happens. Just stay focused, stay on the line, keep looking forward. If you're going to fail at all, make sure you fail forward. Because failure is part of the growth.
Of the chain.
It's part of the growth. You are failing, learn what made you fail, look forward and move on. At least what you know is that where you have failed from, you won't go back to, you have learned something. It's a step forward. So you keep moving until you get to where you're going to go to.